an avenue, not on College Avenue. They had an interim shul for about 10 years. They made one mistake after the other. The first time they moved was to Driving Park when everybody was moving out of Driving Park.
Terrible.
There, Rabbi Greenwald, Rabbi Greenwald was a man of stature, was a real Talmud Chacham, an author. And yet he allowed, at that time, the mechitza was a rope.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, strictly just a rope. And he allowed it. When they moved to the new shul, then they built the mechitza as you see it today.
How many years were you was a shul here, in the house?
In the house?
Before it moved?
Well, it was about 5 years, and then we started building. I said 63, but I really don't think we had service. I think it was 63 when we broke ground. I may be mistaken on the years because I'm thinking now, because Dad didn't come back from Israel until 61 late, and then we were building for a couple of years before we started building the shul. And he began to build the shul, I think, in 63. I believe we had the first Rosh Hashanah was in 65 maybe, and then we didn't even have a ceiling. We had some light bulbs hanging from cords in the ceiling and folding chairs on concrete floors. It might have been 64 when that was. That may have been after 1 year because there just wasn't any money. And they didn't have money to go any further. It was tough raising funds in those days.
What about the size of the congregation? Has that changed much over the
Yeah,
years?
I would say the size, when Phil, you tell me that it's back to 100, 120, I think it was about that And then it stayed fairly stable for probably about 8 or 10 years. And during the period of the early 70s, it began to dwindle because the people that were members of the congregation, because their families had been members or their parents are buried in our cemetery, ceased to either be members or ceased to come. And we had some members on the books, but they paid some dues, but they never showed up for services. I mean, it's very interesting. This is probably the only congregation in town that doesn't have a significant difference in attendance on any Shabbos and on Kol Nidre.
Yeah.
You know, you have a few people, but you don't, and most of those are just people that don't want to pay dues someplace, so they come as schlepper-ons, but don't put that on. But it dwindled then until the new influx of the young traditional Jews started coming to Columbus. The day school, I'm not sure which was first. It was the cart and horse thing. I mean, the day school attracted teachers, and the teachers needed a place to go, and the congregation served that purpose. And the congregation developed a nucleus that brought more teachers in, and it sort of worked hand in hand. When we're accused in the community of operating a school mainly for the services of one element of the community, they're not altogether wrong. I mean, we operate for every element of the community, but basically there's only one element of the community that takes complete advantage of it, and that's basically Ahavas Sholom. Beth Jacob, I don't know what the percentage is, but I think it's considerably small, and Good Asachim is really kind of pitiful as far as the people that we could be getting, the kids we could be getting from that. And of course then from the conservative, we get some, and then the Reformed a few that maybe are avoiding public schools or whatever their reasons or whatever their motivation is. But it really does service one factor of the community, and that's Ahavas Sholom. And I don't apologize for it. That's the way it is. It's there, it's open, and anybody can come. We're not running we don't have a private fraternity. But I think that it's very important that both of those institutions become as strong as they possibly can. I think Ahavas Sholom is going to have to do some major remodeling in order to continue to attract people like yourselves, because as your life cycles become necessary, weddings, it's a shame when you have to go to another congregation in order to utilize, to make your simcha. That doesn't make any sense at all, and I think that has to be the priority that we have to focus on, is to remodel the shul so that it appeals to everybody, and we can have the simchas in that congregation. And we also want to make sure that we have the proper mechitza, but a proper mechitza doesn't have to mean that the women have to be isolated or alienated, so to speak, where they don't even feel like they're part of it. They could be in another room. That's wrong also. That was a mistake, and we didn't handle that properly, and I think in the future expansion and remodeling, we've got to make corrections for that. We have as many women attending services as men attend services. We've got to give them the same kind of respect and the same kind of comfort. And we should see that even men sitting behind the bima don't have to feel like they're sitting in behind bars to observe the bima. It's just a matter of design. It's a matter of proper design. And it's a matter of thinking positive and thinking about the future, not thinking about the very present. We allowed a mechitza to be built because somebody wanted to spend the money to build a mechitza without thinking about what it was that it was going to do to the congregation, what it was going to do to the physical appearance of the building. And it's not nice. Bye.
I